Operating indicators can be grouped into certain categories. There are many categories like profit indicators, price indicators, volume indicators, length of stay, intensity of service indicators, efficiency indicators, and unit cost indicators. So we'll discuss one indicator used by hospitals from each of the named categories. So the first one that we look at is profit per discharge. Profit per discharge is a ratio of inpatient profit divided by total discharges, and that is $157 for Riverside, and the peer group average is $73. Profit discharge measures the amount of profit on inpatient services earned per discharge. So every discharge you make, how much profit have you made on the inpatient services that you have provided? So compared to average, in the case of Riverside, Riverside inpatient services are more than twice as profitable. As you can see, it's more than twice profitable, the inpatient services for Riverside. Net price per discharge is net inpatient revenue divided by total discharges, and that is $4,800 for Riverside, and the peer group average is $5,056. It measures the average inpatient revenue that is collected on each discharge. Um, so Riverside collects less per discharge than the average hospital. Riverside makes a profit of 157 each discharge, so its inpatient service cost structure must be even lower than the peer group average. The next one is occupancy rate. It measures the utilization of hospitals' licensed beds and hence fixed assets. So, how much are you utilizing in terms of the asset utilization? Riverside has a higher occupancy rate than the average hospital. It has a 57.9% occupancy rate as compared to the peer average, which is 45.4%. As you can see, the occupancy rate is calculated by inpatient days divided by number of licensed beds multiplied by 365 days, which is 1 year. And Riverside has a higher occupancy rate than average hospital, and hence it's using its inpatient fixed assets more productively than the average hospital. The next one is average length of stay. Average length of stay is the number of days an average inpatient is hospitalized with each admission. So it is calculated by dividing the inpatient days by total discharges. In case of Riverside is 5.2 days and the peer average is 4.7 days. So in general, longer average length of stay may not be good for inpatient profitability. So in the case of Riverside, it looks like they have a longer length of stay than the average because hospitals have reimbursement that is weighted towards episodic payment. And so the more you keep the patient does not mean that the more you will be reimbursed. They might have just reimbursed you for the surgery itself as a bundled payment. They do not care how many days you keep the patient in your hospital. So the earlier you discharge them, the better it is. And salary per FTE is calculated by total salaries divided by total FTE, and that provides a simple measure of the cost of labor. And in the case of Riverside is $30,973, and the peer group average is $32,987. Riverside has a good control over wages and benefits, which may be leading into their profitability. So we want a lower number here. There are certain limitations of financial condition analysis. Comparison with industry average is difficult if the business operates in many different divisions, if it's a system affiliated hospital and they have several affiliations within one system. Average performance may not necessarily be a good performance, right? Just because it's an average performance, it may not be a good performance. And seasonal factors can also, manipulate the ratios. Inflation effects can also distort the financial statement data. There can be inflation effects when it comes to financial statements. Different operating and accounting practices can also distort comparisons. Sometimes it is hard to tell if any given ratio is good or bad unless you compare it with another organization or competitors or industry average. Um, It also is often difficult to tell whether a business on balance has a strong or weak financial position. So these are some limitations of the financial statement.